Hello. So today we will be sharing about the wonderful soursop. So this is a soursop tree. Let me show you the trunk and the bark of it. There we have a soursop all the way up there. That one is not ready as yet. How do you know when a soursop is ready? The color becomes lighter. So it won't be such a dark green. It will be more of a lighter green. And also the spaces in between become further apart. So this one is far from ready. And of course it will get bigger. Not all of them are big. And if you're allowing it to ripen on the tree, you can also feel it. And it will feel a little riper. But sometimes you have to contend with the creatures. So once it's starting to get fit, then you will pick it and let it stay until it gets ripe. There's another one all the way up there, and there's one more right there. So let me also show you the soursop leaf. I don't have a sweet sop leaf to show you the difference, but the soursop leaf has a more glossy look. So we are going to do a few for tea. I'll just pick two. So let me tell you about the soursop plant. The actually the entire tree is very beneficial for us, from the leaves to the flowers, and also of course the fruit and even the root. Well, we won't easily get the root unless they are destroyed, the tree is destroyed somehow. Alright, so the soursop, both the fruit and the leaves are actually more beneficial overall than the fruit itself for overall health. Right, so the fruit is more beneficial in terms of vitamin C and vitamin B1, potassium, magnesium, and the soursop fruit also has a small amount of protein, and of course it has fiber, it has carbs, it has a little sugar in it. Right, so the leaf specifically is very beneficial for reducing inflammation in the joints and the muscles. It's good for digestive issues, menstrual cramps. It helps to lower high blood pressure, helps to control diabetes. It's good for seizure and spasms, even leprosy, right? Even leprosy. It also boosts the immune system, and it's good for things like coughing and fever. It's good for children who are still bedwetting. You can give them the tea in the evening, and it's also good for those who are having trouble sleeping, or even if you just want to relax in the evening, you can have a cup of soursop leaf tea, right? Soursop leaves are also very potent in preventing and fighting cancer, right? And it's also good for, as I said, diabetes and cancer and high blood pressure and so on. Now the flower is good for flu, but you don't necessarily have to use the flower. You can let the flower remain and turn into a fruit, and then you can use the leaf to help with the flu. It can also be used externally, so you can mash the leaves and use it for things like eczema and other skin inflammation. And another wonderful thing about the soursop fruit is that when it is full, meaning that it is not yet ripe, but it is not as young as this. This is too young. So once it's full and not yet ripe, it can also be prepared, um, like curry. You can curry it, you can stew it. It has a very nice texture. So you can slice it, de-seed it, and then season it. That's how you would season other things. Similar to how you would prepare the jackfruit, the young jackfruit or the unripe jackfruit, like a meat substitute. You can also prepare the unripe soursop in similar manner, and it's very different, but at the same time it's very tasty, right? It has the nature like tofu, right? So you know that you have to season it well to get a nice finish dish. Right, so here we are with a ripe soursop, and as you can see, the space is, well, it's a half of a ripe soursop actually, and this is what I'm saying, that the space between the ripe one will be wider and the color will change to a lighter green. So you can look at the leaves. The leaves are darker than the actual fruit. And so, of course, we all by now know what a ripe soursop looks like inside. It's firm to the touch, right? You don't want it to be overripe, so when you touch it, your hand should not sink all the way in. It should still be firm. Remember, we are counseled not to eat overripe fruits, and we're also not to eat green, unripe fruits. So you wash your soursop, and you can utilize it in different ways. You can blend it, so you can prepare it in different ways. You can blend it, so you have to de-seed it, like take out the seeds before blending. Always search through properly, remove all the seeds. You can blend it into a cream. Sometimes they're a little chewy, so it's better to blend it, or to just whip it in the blender to break up some of break it down a little, so it's easier to chew and digest better. You can add some cashew, or add a little coconut cream, coconut milk, to make it into a little soft serve ice cream. If it's this, so soursop you have some that are a bit more tangy, a bit more sour than others, while some of them, they are very sweet and nice. So if you're going to make a little soft cream, like a little soft ice cream, you can maybe add a little honey or a banana to add a little sweetness, or maybe blend in a date or something like that. You can also make a little drink, especially like you're fasting. You can blend the soursop with some coconut milk and make it into like a smoothie kind of texture, or a little drink. Or one of our favorite ways to eat soursop is just to, let me see, is just to tear it apart and eat it just as it is, right? So you may be having your breakfast. You can just have, depending on what you're having for your breakfast, maybe this could do for one person, this could do for 3 persons or 4 persons. This size depending on how what else you're having with your breakfast, and you can just eat it like this. It's very, very delicious, and you're getting all the vitamins from it, right? No heat is added, so this is raw and live food that is very healthy, and improving your health as well. So I'm going to also show you how to make the tea. So you just simply get, so these leaves are big, so 2 is good enough. If you are doing it for a child, like if they have fever, you can just use 1 to, this is not a full size cup of water, this is not a regular measurement cup, but a small teacup. So if you're doing it like for a child, remember with leaves, we don't boil leaves, we steep leaves, right? So I'm just kind of positioning it down in the container, in the cup a little, right? And then to the cup you will then add boiling water, and then of course cover to let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. The longer it stays is the more it will infuse. So the properties from the leaves will infuse into the water. And how do you know that it is infused? This is not yet infused because the water is still clear. So if the leaf is green, the water is supposed to take on that color, right? And then you can drink as it is. You can squeeze a half a lemon in it. Well, not an entire half, but you can squeeze some lemon juice in it to increase the potency of it depending on what you're taking it for. You could add a teaspoon of honey, or you can add a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of molasses, blackstrap molasses, and you can drink it. And again, depending on what you are treating, you can mix the soursop leaf with other herbs. So you can use the soursop green as it is, or you can allow it to become dried and then you use it like that, right? So especially when you may not have soursop leaves at home, so you can always gather the leaves and dry them. You can powder them, or you can just let them stay in leaf form and use them. So you would use a teaspoon, if you powder it, you would use a teaspoon of dried herbs to 1 cup of boiling water, or you can use a leaf or 2 to the cup of boiling water with the fresh leaves, or the, well, yeah, or the dried leaves. All right, so that's it. I encourage you to eat more soursop, right? It's very tasty, it's very nutritious, and it is as food straight from the creator's hand. You don't have to do anything to it, you don't have to add anything to it. It's alive and it's healthy and it is good for our health. Take care.